Well, we know
we
what day it is.
we have returned.
It's Wednesday. Hey,
It's always good to
look,
be back. It's
hey,
always good to be back.
always. It's always great to be on this show. It's good to see what life is going. And it's good to listen to the stuff that we tend to talk about, stuff that we want to talk about, stuff that we don't want to talk about. I mean, it's always good to just be out there and just listen and see what we have. I mean, look, man, today's show I think is gonna poke a couple people good ways. I think it might poke some people the wrong way. But whichever way you look at it, it's gonna poke somebody one way or the other.
Those are the breaks. Those are the chances we take doing this.
No, for sure. I mean, look, we're gonna talk about TikTok banned, all right, or banning TikTok,
The attempt to
and
ban TikTok.
yeah, the attempt. I mean, does it really need to be banned?
Hmm.
Um, and out of all things, also England's puberty blockage, as I'm going to put it for now.
Yeah. They've taken a surprising stance on that. We'll get into that shortly. You had a good week, brother.
So far, yeah, it's what is it? It's Wednesday.
Hump day.
Can't really
Happy hump day
complain.
to everybody listening.
Hump, hump, get it going. Hump, hump. Oh, sorry, wrong hump. Sorry about my elsewhere. I mean, hey,
Enfermo.
I try to be. You know,
Awesome. Well, it's good, man. Good to hear, and it's good to hear you're in good spirits. Yeah. So, I caught word, or I heard the story or the news that in England they have, I think, basically officially prohibited or banned the use of puberty blockers on children. Now, why is this a big deal? Because uh, England, if you really want to compare, like, for lack of a better term, wokeness, whatever, England is much further along than we are, and that's saying something. And in England, they'll arrest you for saying things against the alphabet community and all that stuff. So they're very, very progressive on these things. And then all of a sudden now they have decided, hey, you know what? This puberty blocker for children thing is not a good idea. And so the question is, like, when are we going to follow suit? Should we? I mean, we here have the dialogue about the whole parental rights thing, but then we also have that aspect of, are we seriously allowing for parents to assume, believe, think, feel that their children are transgender at the early ages of 8, 9, 10, and allow them to go through these treatments, which there's documentation, it's out there, it's happened. So what are we going to do? And, how do we feel about that? So, Frank, where do you stand on that?
dude. All right. So, what are we doing with the puberty blockers?
So
Right.
it's right.
Who is it? Who is it that we're going against? Right? Are we going against the LGBTQ community? Okay. Are we doing it for health reasons? What's the reason? Now, you do realize that if I'm not mistaken, the article that I read. Okay, where's my mouse? Here it is. Okay, the article that I read. Yeah, dude, I have four screens, so I lose my mouse. Okay, pretty much has, if I'm not mistaken, is about less than 100 kids on this. Okay, And what they're saying about this, where was it that I saw it? It was it's against treatment for young, right? Treatment for young people focuses on psy- psychological support after affirming hormones and surgery may be available later or in adulthood.
Affirming. So this is a gender affirming issue. In other words, I'm certain my boy is a girl, and we need to prevent them from experiencing puberty as a boy because I am certain he's a girl. That's the logic. And even though it doesn't happen that often, the fight for it to be much more accessible is out there. But England apparently has done some research, or they've looked at the data and figured, yeah, this isn't really working out. And coming from a place like England, I find that to be a bit eyebrow raising. And it's like, okay, so they're coming around to that. Um, when are we? Now, I think it varies within states, which is the beautiful thing about this country is if you want certain things, there's a state for you. And if you don't, there's another one for you. Um, and you and I have had shows about this in the past where, we totally understand the alphabet community. We accept who they are. I have it personally. I experience it personally with my son,
Hmm.
but even I have a line.
What's your line?
My don't try to tell me you're one thing when you're not. All right. If you're gay, great. If even if as an adult you feel you want to make those changes, fine. But do not try to tell me that as a kid, any parent is just suddenly like, oh no, he's not this, he's that, and don't tell me that you are physically one thing when you're another. And I draw the line right there. I will address you as you like to be addressed. If you want me to call you a she, if you're a he, and all that, I have no qualm with that either. Addressing people the way they want to be addressed is fine. But once you start getting into the details and the weeds about the biology behind it, it ends for me right there. If I feel I know you are what you are, if you got a big Adam's apple, I know you're a man. Period. I don't care what you want me to believe you are. You're not.
All right. So Facebook user Gabriel Martinez, and we don't see his name on the screen because he hasn't clicked that StreamYard thing. But I go on my phone and he's on the group, so I see it. Right. He's saying, can gender dysphoria cause mental health issues? A sense of unease or just satisfaction may be so tense it can lead to depression and anxiety and have a harmful impact on daily life.
Last time I checked, gender dysphoria is a mental health issue. It's in the book. It's in the DSM. So it's classified as a mental illness, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, it's going to cause a lot of those things. That doesn't change the reality of the biology,
All
which
right.
is okay.
So let me say hi to Ovi.
Hey
Hello,
Ovi,
Ovi.
what's up,
We're
Ovi?
back. So, you know, I'm going to tell you my thoughts on this. Number one, I don't think the government should decide who gets what. Okay, that's number one for doctors. Number two, it's up to the parent. Okay, now I'm not saying that hey, my son is 5 years old, okay, and now my son is a she. No, okay. I do believe that in the child's interest, the child I believe, and I'll say the age of 15, 16 years old, knows what they are and what they want to be.
And that's
Okay,
fine. I think that's
and I
okay. And
think
then go ahead.
and I think that that is more of age appropriacy to go ahead and say, okay, I want to do this with myself.
And after a certain age, I think honestly, the level playing field has always been 18. After 18, if you feel that strongly about whatever it is you want to do, go for it. Go for it. Um, and even after, I have no issue with addressing you otherwise if it makes you feel better mentally, physically, whatever the case may be. But my son, for example, or daughter, whatever, my son or daughter will always be my son or daughter because that's what they've always been. I can address you otherwise, but deep down, I'm not changing my beliefs on what you physically, who or what you physically are prior to your changes. No, I can't. Just not that built that way.
No, I mean, I'm not saying that I would do the same, and but I think that at a certain age they're able to make that decision,
And
you know,
that's
and
fine.
and it's like I was saying, when they're 15 years old. I mean, look, let's go to Ovi's thing. Ovi's statement here is a child is unable to make those decisions, and parents should not persuade or force a child unless they know their identity.
And
You're,
I agree with that.
we, I agree with that, but when I say when I'm saying a child, I mean an actual child, and I mean between the ages of, let's say, 5 to
Well, if we're
13
talking
or
about puberty
12.
blockers, then we're dealing with
You know,
kids that are like 11, 12, 13. Like they're just getting into puberty. And you have some parents, it's not that widespread. I'm not saying this is a phenomenon, but it's occurring and there's a movement pushing it. And it's been going on for a while. But
okay,
if you're trying to block puberty, what you're essentially trying to do is prevent your child from growing up a certain gender and developing in within that gender or sex actually to try to be something else at the other end of this. That's really what that is about when it's not given for health reasons. That's the goal. That's the goal. And these are parents that are pushing it. I agree with Ovi. I don't think kids are able to really like figure that out, at least not till later. But some parents are adamant. I mean, I've seen some stories, few and far between, but they're there. You got parents that are like absolutely determined to turn their boys into girls or vice versa. They just feel it like, no, I'm certain. And it's like, what?
no,
They're
I
there.
mean, look,
They're out there. They're out there.
number one, it's not the parent. The parent should not be the one pushing it. I mean, I agree with the parent standing behind their child and what they want to be. I agree with that.
Hmm.
Okay, but I don't believe in having a child have a surgery until they're of age, like what we were saying earlier. That I do believe. I don't, don't. It's just like, at the
Now,
time we were
once you
growing
get to
up.
surgery, you're at the finish line. Like now you're ready to do this. But
Right, but I
hey,
think there you got to be a full blown adult to actually do it. Okay,
right.
this is just like, alcohol drinking. This is just like, smoking, whatever. It's not the same, but it's the same concept, right? Where, yeah, as a child you're gonna hide around, you're gonna try to find your cigarettes, but you can't legally buy them until you're 18 years old, or I think now it's 21. Okay, but and stuff like that, and I think that with the surgery it has to lead to that too, though. If a child wants to have the surgery, hey, go for it. You come out as a child. I mean, over here says if your child as an adult comes out, then I guess you have to respect that. So
Right.
I'm a little conflicted with that comment. No, no,
Really?
because if my child right now, he's 15 years old, right?
Uh-huh.
If he comes out and says, "Hey, Dad, I'm gay," so Obi, are you saying I don't respect that because he's 15 years old and he's not an adult?
Well, that's a tough one.
Look at
At
your situation, Carlos.
No, it's true. But I mean, at that point, what do? I'm not gonna like lock him in the closet and tell him, no, you're not. Not until you're 18 am I gonna understand this decision.
I
Um,
hold on, Obi. Okay, 15 is not an adult. You're right. I
mhm.
understand that. But what I'm trying to say, because going to your last comment was, if your child as an adult comes out, then I guess you have to respect that.
As an
Right, I
adult,
agree.
as an
Right,
adult.
as an adult, you have to respect it. So are you
Mhm.
telling me that at a 15-year-old level, he comes out and says, "Hey, Dad, I'm gay." You don't have to accept it. That's what I'm saying.
Well, that's a great situation that you've brought up. I think honestly, at 15, look, you know what? We'll just call it this way. Rules are the rules, right? At 15, you're still the parent. So at 15, you should be able to maneuver that how you want. If they want to say they are and you don't think they are, you have a right to have your conversations with them to figure out uh, how to work through that. Maybe it's a phase, maybe it's not. But I mean, if that persists throughout high school and they're 18 and they're still telling you, yeah, hey, nothing's changed, and you're like, you know what? Okay, nothing's changed. And that's that. But the situation here though is that you have parents who are putting kids through these like hormonal changes. So we're dealing with a lot now. You're talking about literally changing the normal physiological growth of a certain person's body as it was intended to grow because you think or they think that they are in the wrong body per se. And that is just so crazy on so many levels. And I guess in England it was happening enough to where they saw the data, they realized the mental health issues that that procedure and that idea was causing, that they have put a stop to it. And I don't think I've heard of it completely banned here. I think some states are probably more strict about it than others, but it was just eye opening that a place like England turned around and said, hey, enough. So who knows? Maybe there's finally some fruition to this notion that this was a terrible idea to begin with.
But I I know that I saw in this article there's only maybe I think there was like less than 100 kids that have even gone on them or been on them.
So, I mean, maybe. I don't know about that. I mean, for a whole country to put a ban, there
Yeah,
has to be
fewer than
sufficient data
100. Yeah, yeah, it's fewer than 100 young people are currently on puberty blockers.
currently.
Right, right.
All right.
Currently on the puberty blockers.
So this has been going on for a while. The word currently is key, but there's enough data there for the country to turn around and say we have to stop. So I hope I hope that gets around. I think that aspect of this situation is not healthy at all. And we'll see where it goes. But it did catch my eye that England has turned around and said no mas.
Yeah. So you know what? I mean, look, but this is the thing, and we're gonna tie into this. We're gonna tie this into our next topic, right?
Okay.
Is even as a parent, right? If you try to talk your kid out of it, or even blow it off, or not pay much mind to it, be like, "Oh no, you can't make that decision."
Mm-hmm.
They do have a phone, right? They
Yeah.
do. Most kids do have phones now, and they are on social media, right?
Yeah.
All right. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna go on their TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and TikTok is gonna go ahead and tell them a whole bunch of stuff.
Well, TikTok's not going to tell them anything. They're going to do it on TikTok, and
They're
then
gonna listen.
whatever it is they're saying is going to be heard by however many views it gets. Right.
So what? Now are we gonna ban TikTok too now?
Oh, there it is. The topic of the day, banning
Are we
TikTok.
banning TikTok? Can you really tell me what I could watch and what I cannot watch?
So, yeah, man, this came up on the news today, and it passed. And mind you, this was bipartisan. Um it's not a Republican Democrat issue. I guess, it got enough votes from both parties to so the essential report is banning TikTok. Then later, I think it was tried to be clarified that it's not banning TikTok, it's removing China from TikTok. Either way, we're looking at government asking or trying to create rules
Hold
or
on.
laws.
Let me correct you there.
Go ahead.
Okay. If if China does not sell TikTok, then it's banned. So it is to ban TikTok.
Okay. All right. So
Okay.
they're essentially forcing China's hand.
Correct. They're
Um,
trying to.
all right.
But
So
go ahead.
no. Wait. So let's look at the situation. All right. TikTok. Even I've started using TikTok for business purposes. Um, if it's right. Okay. So what do we know about
Thank
TikTok?
you,
I've
Ovi.
heard a few things, and I'm sure anybody in the comments can chime in. We've seen already like the negative influence that TikTok can be. I mean, we've gone through what countless TikTok challenges where kids are just doing all sorts of dumb stuff. And what we're also noticing is that the algorithm tends to promote things that are divisive. They are not conducive to society. Now, the story is that in China, when you use TikTok in China, the videos that they see are all super positive, very encouraging, success. That's all they promote is kids doing wonderful things, videos about success and probably, loyalty and country and just everything good. All right. But then you come here and the algorithm feeds us a ton of twerking, a lot of people complaining about issues. And it's not all that, though. I mean, there are people who use it for information. I mean, there's plenty to go around here, but they say that the Chinese tend to manipulate the algorithm a little bit to where it kind of stirs our kids up, especially. Add to that the notion of the whole stealing information and used by the Chinese, blah, 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 blah. So
Has that been proven?
I have not seen or heard of it, but they've been saying it. However, I think it was Rogan who actually did read the what is it, the rules when you sign up, like the guidelines, and he was terrified by what he read. I remember his episode about this. So in essence, there's got to be some credibility to that. Um, so what are we left with though? We're left with dealing with an app that does have a bit of a history of promoting foolishness versus, once again, government overreach.
All right.
How do we fall on this issue?
All right, dude. Look, I'm gonna say it like this. When I go on TikTok, I don't see any stupid challenges. Okay. I don't see somebody jumping off a bridge. Okay. I don't. I don't. I don't. I think, overreach or is it the safety of our
That's the
country.
crux of it right there. Yeah, that's
Okay.
exactly it. How do we
So
decide for this, Frank? Where are we?
so like I see a lot of different people with different shows. Okay. I think this is Gabby again. I don't think it will ever be banned because it makes way too much money. He's kind of right. People do make money off that. I've seen it. Okay,
It's
I
true.
see, but going back to what
Go
I'm
ahead.
saying
Go
is
ahead.
that
Yeah.
I see different things. I see people doing a show. I see live videos of people rapping to music. It depends on what you're looking for. I mean, look, doesn't Facebook kind of do the same thing? How many times have you been speaking about something
And then
and
it shows up on
poof,
your feed.
it shows up on your feed? So so to sit here and say that, oh yeah, the Chinese are doing it, I think the Americans and Facebook are doing it also.
Mhm. That's a good point. That's a
All
good
right.
point.
I mean, I think that if you want to go ahead and you want to ban social media or ban TikTok, ban social media altogether.
So
Then we
right. So I think that's what's happening. Really, this is more of, to me, in my opinion, this is more of a guise. It's the government is still trying to find a way in on how to overtly control social media. They've done it discreetly, and that's already been proven. If you read the Twitter files, they were talking to the FBI. Uh, Zuckerberg, with his whole donations to certain parties trying to influence elections. This is no secret that the government has been meddling with social media for years, but they have to do it under wraps. Trying to pass this bill will give the government an in on how to manipulate social media without secret. Like, oh, we passed this. We did it to TikTok. Now we'll do it to Twitter. And then we'll do it here unless whatever algorithm, message, whatnot is appropriate. So I don't like what's going on. I think this is a ruse. I think I think the government is just trying to kind of sneak its way in. However, I I'm not totally against getting China out of it. I don't like China in anything, to be honest with you. Even though I know half the stuff in this room was made there, but the less China, the better. I do agree with that. And I know I think Rumble is trying to buy their share, which would be nice. So I don't know. I
But
don't know. Hmm.
but but again, we go back to the same crap. It's about controlling your algorithms, right?
Hmm.
If you don't want your son or your daughter to be doing stupid shit and be watching stuff, you know what? Take their phone,
Take the phone.
control their phone, block their phone. Listen, when my 15-year-old pisses me off, I grab his phone, I grab my phone, I go "Roop," lock screen, and the only people that he could communicate with is me and his mother. And the only way that no, no, no. And the only way that he could do that, you want to know how?
How?
By making a fucking phone call. He can't even text.
Wow.
All right. So whenever we want, we could block kids off the apps. We could put limits on the apps. We could watch kids and what they do. Okay. So at the end of the day, like my favorite word that I've always used, okay, we could do okay whatever we want with our kids and control our kids from doing stupid shit.
No, I agree. I agree.
Okay, can we? You know what? Let me rephrase that. We can't control everything because there's a certain part of the day where they're not with us. All
Right.
right, but if it starts at home and you educate your kids the right way and you talk to your kids the right way, they're gonna know what to do.
True, Frank. I mean, I'll play devil's advocate. I'm sure you were raised with some good morals. I know I was. Did that completely stop us from behaving? From not behaving? No.
No, no, no. Wait, 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 wait. I'm gonna tell you what it did, though. I'm gonna tell you what it did. Okay, because yeah, did we probably misbehave? Of course we did.
Of course we did. Always
But
trying to get around our parents' eyes. You know
but
it.
question. Watch this. If you knew that jumping off that bridge, right? You're gonna jump off that bridge and you're gonna land in that water, right? But in the back of your mind, you're saying, "Man, if I get caught, they're gonna kick my ass, and the chances of me getting caught are really, really good. Do I really want to get a broomstick across my head today?"
Then all you need is that friend to tell you, go for it, man. They're not going to know.
Right, because
We've been
then
there. We've been there.
okay, but you still have that fear of God that they place in your mind. So
you know,
you're gonna think it twice,
you
and
know
then
what?
your
Uh-huh.
morals will take over.
I
Okay, because
believe,
look,
yeah,
let's be real. Jumping off a bridge, no big deal. Our parents will probably kick our ass for it, but we know we're gonna survive.
right. But
Okay,
parents aren't kicking enough ass these days. That's another issue. They're
that's
not. They're
they're
not.
not. They're
They're
not. They're
not.
not. I mean, we could Carlos. You know,
They're not.
we're hitting that mark. You know, that time right there, right? Right, we're hitting that mark.
They're not.
And we're gonna go into a
So,
totally different topic here. I mean, listen, again, it goes back to it. Do I think that TikTok or I'm gonna say social media in general?
mm,
Do I think social media is all fucked up? Yes, I do. Do I think that what that social media is putting out there is totally them trying to control the algorithms and everything else? That's everywhere. That's not just TikTok. Okay, because again, your algorithms on TikTok go but based on what your search history is. Okay, because dude, look, You know what? This is simple, and I'm gonna prove my point real fast. Right here, my TikTok. I don't know how do I do this. You see, it goes to show you how much I really go into it. Okay, let me go to the live. My live on TikTok. Look,
I can't
hold
see
on.
it.
I know you can't.
You turned off your screen. Well, what is it?
Why?
Yeah, it's glary. It's glary. What do you have there?
It's shout out to Wyoming for removing firearm-free zones. Make America Confederate again. Okay, that's one. Now I got some people in a group
Now
singing.
I see why you're so poisoned.
Okay, I have a kid playing a video game. I got some beautiful Spanish girl just talking crap
There
right
it
now.
is. There it is. There it is.
I got a guy. I got a guy right here sell, selling skates.
Oh man.
Okay, I got two other
See. Hold
girls
on.
here
Hold
just
on.
talking
Hold on.
crap.
Listen to what you're telling me. These are things that promote addiction, and all social media does it. You just want to constantly see what is next, and you'll end up finding the dirge in these social media platforms. So, but the main thing here is this. I think what we cannot escape from this TikTok conversation before we wrap it up is I understand the algorithm issue. I understand the addictive nature that these companies deliberately set their platforms up to be. But the fact that the government is trying to find their way in to control and make decisions on social media is the key here, because once they get to do it to TikTok, then they start doing it to everyone that they don't like. And you know me with government control, big no no. So I don't think they should go through with this, but it's already passed the House. I don't know how the Senate's going to vote. And then of course, if it passes the Senate, it has to get to Biden, and I'm not even sure he knows where he is right now. So I don't know, man. We're gonna have to keep an eye on this because I don't like our government making decisions on anything involving information we get. Because TikTok's not all bad. There's valuable information on TikTok. But if Uncle Sam doesn't like it and Uncle Sam has the power to do something about it, we are in trouble because it won't end at TikTok. It'll keep going. X will be next. So something to keep an eye on.
Dude,
Something to keep an eye on.
I just think that social media brings a lot of different things to
I agree.
the
I agree.
table. And if you're gonna ban TikTok, then you know what? Go ahead and ban Twitter. Go ahead and ban Facebook. Go ahead and ban Threads.
They
Go
won't
ahead
ban
and
it though. They'll ban it if what you're
okay. Be-
providing is
But
against the.
but again, but you know what? But look, Carlos, this goes back to how social media handles, and I'm gonna go back to yesterday's wrestling show right quick. All right, is we had a segment on where you had this female wrestler, Vicious Vicky, I think her name is. All
Mhm.
right, you have people just start slamming her over social media.
Okay.
Okay, and that is just a mind fuck with people. You know, and we're talking about the cyberbullying stuff.
Mhm.
Okay, now what does that do to people? That puts you in a bad mindset when you have when you have a wrestler that has worked on their craft. Okay, to have somebody just start bashing you like that. Okay, it plays mind games on you. I mean, and this is
Right.
and we're talking just in general with life, right? Because it's gonna happen. But when you have it on a constant and it comes through social media where everybody hides behind these things,
Yeah.
right? It's not like right now, right? You and I, yeah, we're on social media right now. We're discussing. We're going back and forth. You could call me an asshole, and I'll call you an asshole right back. you're still hearing me, right? But if you're behind the computer typing your fingers away, the minute you hit close, that's it. It's
Yeah.
gone.
That.
I have no
Yeah.
return.
And
So
there's been studies on mental health and how it's affected society because of it. But again, you also threw in the curveball about parents being under control. So you can't have it both ways, right? The The main thing is, though, is again, this is the most important thing. Uncle Sam should not be dictating, should not be making decisions on social media companies, because here's the bottom line. Frank, you own a social media company. I own a social media company. I promote, or my algorithm skews, whatever you want to call it, shows things that are unfavorable to the current administration. Yours does. So guess what happens? They will find a way to get rid of me like they're trying to get rid of China. You're going to see what they're doing to me, and you're going to be like, you know what? I need to make sure everything I put on this thing is perfectly good with the government so I can continue my revenue. That's the snowball you do not want. That's all I'm saying.
Well, um, I, you're right. I mean, there's nothing else left to say about this topic. I'm just like whatever with it. You have any final thoughts, Carlos, or did you just say your final thoughts?
Uh, Nothing. No, I think honestly, all of us, comment section, you and I, just keep our eyes open. I think 2024 is going to be a very interesting year. There's a lot at stake, and like everything else, when there's a lot at stake, people tend to get desperate, which means the antic level starts to rise. The attempts at anything just become a bit more dramatic and crass. It's going to be crazy. So just keep your eyes peeled, and I'm sure you and I will have plenty to talk about next week. Just
I'm
based on,
sure.
I'm sure there's going to be lunacy between now and the next 7 days anyway. So
Most
just keep your eyes
definitely.
open.
Hey, look, my thoughts is this. To those out there in the comments today, thank you. I think I missed a comment or two. All right. Sorry. I
Input was
know,
good.
it's been a while since we've felt the love. All right. Thank you. Keep in mind that Speaking It Real is brought to you by Clovercrest Media for all your podcasting needs. All right. Reach out to them, reach out to Joe and the team. If you want to start your podcast, they'll get you started. All right. But as for us here in Speaking It Real, you might agree with what we're speaking. You might disagree with. Oh, wait, stop. Nope. I went too far ahead of myself. All right. Just remember, to you guys out
Getting back
there.
into the
All
rhythm.
right. This is Gabby. Yeah, no. You know,
Oh, no, they don't.
no, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Trouble
Lately,
always
they
comes
don't.
before. Yeah. Thanks.
Epa.
All right. But hey, listen. Do me a favor, guys. You know, share the show with your friends. Share the show with your enemies. Share it with your frenemies. All right. But you know what? Damn it. Share this show and let them know that Frank and Carlos are back on Speaking It Real. And we're coming back at you. It's a shorter version of the show. Sometimes we go a little longer, so might go a little shorter. But you know what? We get our points across a little bit more than what we did before. So like I said, you might agree with what we're speaking. You might disagree with what we're speaking. But at the end of the day, we're not gonna ban you. All right? And we're always gonna speak it real.
Nice.
Thank you for watching. Speaking with You is brought to you by Clovercrest Media. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. You can listen to us wherever you get your podcast. See you next week.